Alrighty guys, we're back for Bunnies and Eggs, and this is a Murders at Karlov Manor standard brew, and I'm Red Cat. Let's briefly go over the deck, then hop right into some ranked, but first things first, happy Easter! Okay, what are the bunnies? We got 4 rabbit batteries. This is a 1 mana 1/1 with haste. Equipped creature has +1/+1 and haste. The reconfigure cost is only 1 red mana. Beautiful stuff, man. We also have Pollen-Shield Hare, 2 mana, 2/2 creature tokens you control get +1/+1. Yeah, we totally have a little bit of a token theme in here, so that'll be fun. Also has an adventure side here for 1 green mana. It is sorcery speed. Hair raising. Target creature you control gains vigilance and gets +X/+X until end of turn, where X is the number of creatures you control. That could be pretty good, especially if you're packing that onto a creature with trample, which of course we totally have in here. Now, what's the egg side of this, huh? Well, Palani's Hatcher, of course. 5 mana, 5/3. Other dinosaurs you control have haste. And when it ETBs, you create 2 0/1 green dinosaur egg creature token. Nice. At the beginning of combat on your turn, if you control 1 or more eggs, you sacrifice an egg, then create a 3/3 green dinosaur creature token. Good stuff, man. So, yeah, we got our Easter eggs and we got our Easter bunnies. So what else do we got packed in then? Well, on the top end, we have all 4 Ancient Imperiosaurs. 7 mana, 6/6, rocking that Convoke, so creatures help us cast this. It has Trample, it has Ward 2. It also enters the battlefield with 2 +1/+1 counters on it for each creature that convoked it. The card is kind of ridiculous, man, and hopefully we're able to get this out for a relatively cheap cost, as the deck should know how to go wide. And then at that point, hopefully we're giving it haste either with the Palani's Hatcher, or the Rabbit Battery also can give that haste as well. So, and even after you convoke it too, because the reconfigure, you don't got to tap Rabbit Battery or anything. So that's also pretty cool, huh? And then maybe you'll have extra mana. Maybe you can slap that hair-raising side of the Pollen-Shield Hare onto the Ancient Imperiosaur, giving it vigilance and buffing it even further. I'll tell you what, dude, I think we could 1-turn kill with Ancient Imperiosaur pretty easily. So we'll see if we can actually pull that off. Do have a little bit of ramp packed in with all 4 Intrepid Paleontologists. We also have a couple of Lorekeepers here too. Only a couple of them because not everything's a dino in here. For example, like Mondrak. Now this will help us get twice as many tokens from each of our token generators. So like Palani's Hatcher, for example, if you go turn 4 Mondrak into a turn 5 Hatcher, you're getting 4 dinosaur eggs, which is actually pretty wild. And if you are getting that much, it's going to be really easy to convoke out that Ancient Imperiosaur at that point. You know what I mean? And we do have more token generation with all 4 wedding announcements. It's going to be pretty good in here. Technically, more token generation on the Poet of Unity's bottom ability too. For 5 mana, it flips into that Saga, which is pretty cool. Also just helping us mana fix, also just helping us keep like mana on the board. That's all important. Not too much removal in this one, guys. We do have a Get Lost, though, and a couple Trumpeting Carnosaurs. Hopefully that's enough, but it's probably not, let's be real. A couple more dinosaurs with a Dracosaur and a Ghalta and Mavren. Some honorable mentions. Itzkinth, firstborn of Gishath, almost made the cut. Rabble Rousing could have been interesting. Atali, of course. Skullport and Nexus is also like another token generator that fits the dino theme. Just couldn't find room for it this time. 25 total land, guys. All right, we're going to go ahead and save the more in-depth discussion for the end of the video. Also at the end, maybe we'll change up the deck a bit before actually posting it to YouTube. In the meantime, guys, let's go ahead, take it into some ranked and see how we do. All right, we'll see if we can get right into that first game here. In the meantime, what am I expecting from the build? It should be super janky, but there's going to be like those moments where we just have that like 1-turn just explosion of power that blows us away. That's what I'm hoping for in like the first couple games here. Okay, I guess so. Like the Jetmir's Garden is a little slow, but I mean, we technically have the mana we need for quite some time. Phoenix check. Oh no. Okay, turn 2 Rabbit Battery incoming. And hopefully we see an untapped land off the top. Do I swing? Sure. I don't plan on blocking with the rabbit batteries, the thing, so we might as well get that 1 damage through because you never know when that could come in handy. Anyways, if we get an untapped source, we got that announcement. Mondrak wasn't a bad draw either. Just more untapped sources off the top would go a long way for this hand, especially if we can start generating double tokens off of the announcement. Then Mondrak blocks relatively well. Play with fire my rabbit battery instead of my face? Are you sure, opponent? Okay, Ancient Imperiosaur. Unfortunately, not an untapped source, but like, we're okay. We're okay for now, right? That was a pretty slow couple turns for mono red, right? Turn 1, turn 2, and we only took 4 damage total. So it's going to come down to, are they going to get that 3rd mountain? Is it going to be Godric style? We do see a few different styles of mono red, and sometimes it does shock me. Okay, an untapped source I don't even care about for the next couple turns, but I mean, of course, getting closer to the Trumpeting Carnosaur wouldn't be a bad thing. Going for 7 now, that was a pretty good turn 3, even without Godric hitting the board. There's an untapped source, so that would have been much better last turn to get the wedding announcement ball rolling. Now the question is it Mondrak to try to block Swift Spear a little better, or do we continue? I guess it is Mondrak for the turn, right? It's less likely that they have removal for Mondrak, although like Witchstalker Frenzy definitely exists in these builds. Very, very slow start for us, guys. And they're picking on our bunnies, too. All right, let's hope that last card in hand. Oh, it is. It is. Oh, no. Oh, Witchstalker Frenzy. That's not lethal damage. Funny enough, because they poked our rabbit battery earlier, but we also could have saved that rabbit battery as a chump blocker, too. So, well, that's that, huh? Some awkward draws. We could have mulliganed, right? Like, we knew the Jetmir's Garden was going to be pretty slow. Trumpeting Carnosaur, I guess keeping that open would have been better than the Mondrak, right? Either way, no matter what we do here, if we play Wedding Announcement and chump on the ground, we can't guarantee the chump on the ground anyways. So I suppose Carnosaur was a little better. Take care of the Godric potentially. And then either way, it's lethal. Oh, wow, they actually got something too. It's going to be a play with fire. Okay. I thought it was going to be something to protect the Godric, honestly. Thought it was going to be like a monstrous rage. Well, that wouldn't... Yeah, that would have done it. That's right. That's right. The roll actually gets +1/+1. Oh, no, opponent. Oh, there you go. They dropped the hello, so I was like, are they gonna hold us on the play with fire for real? I'm gonna say it's all on video, but now I just dropping the hello to be silly there. It's really weird that it like you go to 0 and it holds open on the scry. Like, what's the ruling? Like, what's the ordering? Like, why does it hold the scry? Like, why doesn't the game just end there? You know what I mean? Yeah, we've wrapped up plenty of games with Play With Fire, so we always just, like, click through the scry as fast as possible. Okay, right. So I actually like the last hand more, but now we actually have, like, faster land, too, so... A lot of our early draws could be better. All right. Yeah, we'll give this a shot, huh? Okay, Huatli's a very good draw. Exactly what we want to see there. Okay, cut down number 1 out of the opponent's hand. Dread Knight. Ew. Okay, Paleontologist. Dude, nice. Yeah, like I said, a lot of our earlier game draws are going to be perfect here, and that's what we pulled off. They found some removal for Paleontologist. Now, is it going to be a 3rd piece of removal for the Huatli is the question. Yeah, we better Better get the Huanders down to make sure we're still curving out properly. We should grab a untapped red source, right? Just in case we see a 4-drop off the top. Taking 3 again. Nothing blocks great against Dread Knight. It is going to be a 3rd piece of removal for the opponent. Luckily, not like a Dread Knight number 2. At that point, we should keep Carnosaur open, maybe? Especially now that... actually, yeah. Yeah, we should play our mountain, keep the Carnosaur open. Just as an emergency, though, I'd much rather play Carnosaur. Maybe we filter out the garden. Maybe. We might not find... Okay, so we're taking 3. Yeah, Carnosaur is just an emergency. I think... Aclizotes. Well, that doesn't even hit that. Alright, I'll go ahead and cycle out the garden. Hopefully we find our 6 mana when we need it then, but... it's just another garden. Okay. Another Carnosaur, too. Wow. We can survive next turn, then these Carnosaurs could really do a thing for us. Okay. So we'll go ahead and play Jetmir's Garden. Very, very slow game for us, but it would have been much faster if we would have been able to keep at least one of these creatures on the board. Swing. Now, if we have 2 turns... Okay. So, first of all, we discard the Ancient Imperiosaur. Now, we could take 7 down to 4 and have 2 turns of Carnosaur. Or we could hit the Dread Knight and they get a chance to cast it back, get a little bit of draw. I say we're like in danger one way or the other. We just like risk it. We go down to 4. If it was down to 2, I don't think I would have risked it. Because they could drop like Shieldred and then we just die. Okay. 6 mana and Carnosaur. Now, what could we hit here? For Discover 5, there could be some pretty good hits. Ooh, like Palani's Hatcher, for example. Now, unfortunately, that's just other dinos getting that haste, but that is Carnosaur and a 3/3, so that could be 10. They have 4 in the air no matter what, though, huh? That's a shame. That was a really good hit, though. And you know what we saw in these first 2 games, guys? Monster. But you know what we saw in these first 2 games? We saw... eggs and we saw bunnies, and that's all. That's the whole goal. Good game, opponent. Just so much removal, man. 3 pieces. We shouldn't be too surprised against Golgari, right? I think like half the deck is removal. I wouldn't be surprised of 2 to 3 cut downs and like 4 go for the throats and a couple bitter triumphs, right? I wouldn't be surprised by that at all, and like a couple Terrace Unders as well. As a matter of fact, they probably need all that, especially against Boros, and like the 1-for-1 spot removal against Boros isn't even that great too, so they probably had some board wipes packed in as well, even if they didn't see the spot removal. I don't know what board wipes Golgari would like to run. Golgari mid-range, maybe the 5 mana command, is it? Is that a card I'm thinking of right now? We don't see it too often, but when we see it, it's kind of ridiculous. It also has like the option to put +1/+1 counters and give lifelink for the turn as well. This is the best hand of the evening, period, dude. Like this is how it's supposed to look, right? Like mana that is actually able to play what we have in hand, get more mana. Like we don't have like our dino ramp now, but this is totally fine. And we go first here too. This is our chance for our holiday build to do a thing. Mana, okay. Good thing we went first, yeah. Copperline Gorge. Alright, so I'm probably just going to play this out as a creature, right? And not worry about the adventure side of things here. We could have got 1 more damage, but then we're not getting a bunny on the board, and that's like essential, dude. That's the whole point. Oh. Oh? What is this? Rakdos dinos? Or it could be Jund dinos and they're just missing a green source, right? So, Razorverge Thicket. Make sure we grab... What? What do we want to grab here? Yeah, we're just going to keep everything back because obviously they got great blocks. So let's play this out. We grab a green source. We have everything we need. I think a green source is totally fine. No attacks. Could be an awkward couple turns if we see like land off the top. Like we might be forced into some blocks here too, depending. Wouldn't be a bad block into etching with Huatli, but I'd love to flip this when it comes time. Sure feels like something, right? Sure does. We should try it though. We don't want to take too much damage, and I don't know what this Rakdos build is, but it kind of feels like they'd be able to do some explosive things. Gonna be Iron Hoof Boar. Dude, that's some trample too. Okay, okay. And a Monstrous Rage. Down to 10. That was pretty sick, opponent. Okay. Combat Trick Rakdos, I suppose? That's funny, dude. All right. Huatli number 2. So we're going to get this down tapped. We're going to keep Seat as utility. And Huatli was a great draw, man. We get to thin that deck even further. And we'll grab a green and white source. We have double red. I guess another red source wouldn't be the worst thing, right? We got to keep emergency blockers for sure, dude. Because they have 3 cards in hand now. We might be forced to block way more than we'd like to. Be nice to get some tokens on the board, though. Maybe we... Probably not safe to flip the Huatli. We double block. They're just going to combat trick again, right? And when they do, both of these have trample. If we say, okay, we'll take 7, like we're just dead, right? Like we're just going to die for sure. So Huatli has to block for sure. Since both have trample, we'll try etching, because if it's like another Monstrous Rage, at least the rolls replace each other. If it's 2 things that buff by 3, again, like if it's another Iron Hoof Boar and Monstrous Rage, they just go all in on the Yearling, and then we die there. But if we end up chumping, okay, that's the risk I'll take, right? I'll keep my 2 rabbits back. Gonna be Bane... Glitter. 6. Okay, we're alive. The risk was fine. Now we just have to figure out how to block for the rest of this game, right? Okay, they're down to 14. I'm trying to figure out what the Yearling's doing in there, but they must have other dinos packed in, right? Unless they just really wanted this in here for the trample. Oh, mana off the top. That's not great, guys. That's not great. Like because if we get some blockers down, that's okay, I guess. That trample's brutal. But like we don't have Seat of the Empire. Like Seat of the Empire would be so much better to take out this 6/3 Yearling. Dude, the opponent's deck is freaking sick, man. Okay, I'm just gonna get this down. I think we're super duper dead. Luckily the Pollen-Shield Hare does buff that token to a 4/4. Not a lot of great swing. If we swing, they can just take it all. So no attacks, and hopefully the opponent just draws mana. Yeah, that's a full swing if I've ever seen one as well, huh? Okay. So we can't take too much. Combat Trick Rakdos is wild, dude. Very cool stuff. I want to go. Might be able to take care of you. Losing everything here, huh? Losing everything. and hoping that they're out of combat tricks now. We take 2 here then. 3 with the monster roll. I think we're dead. I'm gonna not block with the... Actually, I guess we might as well put that there too, right? Just in case that would go there. We'd still be able to save the rabbit battery, and I guess they still just want to pack everything into this yearling then, right? Darn it, guys, no matter where I go, no matter where I go, another combat trick probably ends this. We're losing almost everything, and so we're taking a little bit of a risk by letting the rabbit battery survive. It's going to be another monstrous rage anyways. Holy cow, opponent, really sick deck, huh? I like that one. You guys will have to let me know in the comments. Should we visit something like this? We just have to figure out what that yearling was doing in there outside of the trample. Right? Like there's probably maybe the 4-drop dino that already has trample too. Yeah, there's definitely enough like red dinos that would... Oh, wait, no, I'm thinking of something else. Yeah, the new skeleton in the new set that has a huge attack power, that's not like a skeleton dinosaur, is it? I don't think it is. Yeah, we ended up seeing a lot of mana there. We were just like on the run. Like they had like all those extra combat tricks. I feel like that would actually work really, really well in standard right now, huh? I feel like that just totally did a thing, even if we had like a full-on meta build. I think we would have been scared and on the run. I wonder if they had anything that gave double strike in there too. Potentially. Okay. Okay. We go first. That's good news. If we had one extra turn to see our top end in that last game, maybe we could have pulled something off. But as of right now, we're really struggling to put the combo pieces together for this one. The mana's been pretty good, though. Outside of that first game, the mana's been excellent. Like, opting for these early lands has been really working out, I'd say. Okay, they call Pirate on the Cavern, huh? I'm gonna make sure to get this down. Yeah, what the heck, I'll swing. Every damage matters, so... If we go... We just really need to not see mana for, like, the next few turns. Oh, jeez, bro. Oh, jeez. Okay, well, let's thin the deck out, huh? We do have a Hatcher next turn if they don't take out our Lorekeeper. Green, white, red. Let's go for another white source just in case. We have everything fixed. But since we had a forest in hand and a potential Crucible, which is probably just going to be utility for this game, because we got more than enough mana in hand. It's a Larcenist. They want to hit Huatli, probably? Well, that's not true necessarily. Well, either way, the Lorekeeper is ramp for us because this turns it into a treasure. So technically, Huatli just became extra ramp if we see like our 6-drop dino, right? That's very possible, actually. We do have a lot of top end in here. Malcolm, and they send it. Oh no, more mana off the top, guys. We're not rocking 28 in here. We got 25. I would consider that pretty unlucky, huh? All right, Hatcher. Do the thing, Hatcher. Do the thing. And hopefully we see some of our top end then. I think they could easily begin to outpace. All they got to do is play something for the Schooner. Schooner? Where have you been? What the heck, guys? This is like the first time I've seen Schooner in like over a month. I mean, don't quote me on that, but seriously, where has this card been? It's still so good. Got a good swing here because they know we're not going to trade Hatcher into Schooner, although that wouldn't be a terrible one for us. That's risky. That's a risky full swing. we could easily... Well, do they have any... They played their mana for the turn, right? That's a risky full swing, dude. We could easily win next turn. Like, they don't know what's in our hand. They just, like, play a hasty dinosaur. Of course, we don't have a hasty dinosaur, but still. Oh, Pollen-Shield Hare is really good. Oh, buddy. Okay. That's what I'm talking about, dude. I will put that onto the Lorekeeper. We'll play that. That's really good, dude. 1, 2, 3 for Crucible. No legendaries on the board. So that should be the 18 damage. Like I said, risky full swing. I was going to try to get the Crucible down, but I was trying to figure out if I had any legendaries. I was double checking to make sure the Hatcher wasn't, but yeah. Good stuff, man. That's what I'm talking about. Yeah, they wanted to keep a blocker back for sure. And if they did, if they kept Larcenist back as a blocker and they blocked that into the Hatcher, they'd still be at 2 and we'd still be in danger then. At that point, would there have been a better way to get more damage? We got an extra 2 from the Pollen-Shield Hare onto these guys. If we would have played Forest and played Crucible for 4, we'd have 1 green source open, right? So Crucible comes down. That's an extra 2 there. And then we go Hair-Raising side for the last green mana that we had, right? And with the Hair-Raising side, now it gets +6/+6. So that would have been an extra 2. So actually, I think there would have still been a way through if they kept the blocker back for Hatcher. So they would have needed to keep 2 blockers back. But I didn't math that out in time, as I just wanted the Pollen-Shield Hare on the board. Especially since they were tapped out too. So yeah, technically, if they kept the blocker back, I think we still could have mathed out victory there, unless they kept 2 back. That was sick, dude. That's totally what the deck is supposed to be doing. Let's keep the ball rolling, huh? Our bunny totally did a thing there. Great top deck. Thank goodness it wasn't more mana, right? Okay, we go first. So far, the curve of the build kind of feels a little awkward. Just kind of like how we're, like... So first of all, I'm going to go turn 2 Lorekeeper instead of turn 1 and just get our tap lands down. Well, then we're going to have late game tap lands too. Yeah, that could be a little awkward. That could be a little awkward. I'm going to save Lorekeeper back then. And what we're going to do is go right into the Pollen-Shield Hare. It's a little bit funny. Trying to work the curve that we got in hand though. Lay down arms. Okay. All right. So that worked out then. We still have potential to keep our ramp around. So with this, we have to decide between what we want. Well, since Jetmir's Garden's going to be tapped no matter what, we will go Copperline Gorge. Lorekeeper. Rabbit Battery. We might as well swing. I don't plan on blocking. Let's do this. Next turn, we have a Hatcher. If they don't destroy the Lorekeeper, which would have been the target for the laydown arms, period, if we didn't have that Pollen-Shield Hare. Ooh, Ancient Imperiosaur. Okay, here we go. Here we go. Now we're talking. So, I guess we start with Hatcher, right? It's awkward now that the Rabbit Battery's equipped to the Lorekeeper because, like, we want more creatures. We want more creatures on the board for the Imperiosaur, but this is fine. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. If we... Okay, wedding announcement, dude. We're in danger if we can't do something next turn, but I mean, Imperiosaur should come down with haste. Carnosaur, because they didn't find removal for the Hatcher. Carnosaur is great, man. If we go Carnosaur for the turn... Wait, we can't. We can't. Never mind. This is going to come down tapped, so we'll start with that. So we go keep Hatcher. I don't plan on swinging with Hatcher, though. I don't plan on swinging with Hatcher, so we're actually going to tap all of these down. Tap for Convoke. Just to get extra counters on this. We'll go ahead and give it a little bit of an extra boost here with our last mana. Since it already has haste anyways, we'll keep the 3/3 back as a blocker and just swing with our 15/15 trample. Oh, buddy. And with that last mana, imagine if we just gave it the sorcery side, like the hair raising. Of course, we played, like, I'm saying, if instead of Carnosaur in hand, if we had Pollen-Shield Hare, and we didn't have to equip the Rabbit Battery, for example, it would have been +5/+5, right? What, 19 total? They go for a tiny little chump and take 14 damage. GG opponent. Let's go, guys. Holy cow, huh? That's what I'm talking about. That is exactly what the deck is trying to do. Couple games in a row there. Why couldn't those games be the first ones of the video, huh? Arena? I'm gonna have to file a complaint. Good stuff, good stuff. We got the win rate up a little bit. We're 31 minutes in. We're going to go one more match. I totally believe we can get this to a 50%, right? We lost 3 in a row. We win 3 in a row. And I do believe we can do that. Oh. Oh, the opponent goes first, and this is not great. So if we need to see mana off the top and Paleontologist surviving for this hand to be good. That's asking for a lot, right? Let's try it, though. Let's try it. Let's push the limits of the build. Riveteer's Overlook. Okay. Grab a Forest. Lorekeeper. Okay, well, it's not mana off the top, but that's important. We might get one step closer to Hatcher. Oh, there's mana off the top. That's what we want to see. Simic colors with a Riveteer's Overlook. I'm not going to swing with the Lorekeeper. Call me crazy. But I don't know what their deck is. So a counterspell on Paleontologist would be equally as bad as some kind of thing for Lorekeeper, though. Never mind. I'm going to swing. Okay, nothing stuck, so feels like a counterspell, but it's not a counterspell. Paleontologist lands. We're set up, dude. Let's get that Hatcher next turn. Nissa. Ooh, some ramp, maybe. We even get to save the Soothe the Empire back. Man, Mondrak would be cool, too. But we should just, we should get this down while we can, right? Because if we go Mondrak for the turn, there's no guarantee that we have Hatcher for next turn if they do something crazy. No, you know what? This is much more fun. Mondrak is on the board. Let's see what happens here. Sometimes you just gotta go for fun, man. And quite honestly, I don't really care if I win one way or the other. Obviously, we're gonna try to win. But, if I can pull off a whole bunch of eggs next turn, I just want to see it happen. Hey! Dude, nice. They ramp right into a 3-drop here if they want. The elf that they ended up hitting was another Nissa. So the great news is both the opponent's deck and my deck are both trying to do a really cool thing. So we totally just allowed some setup here. So 1, 2, 3, 4. We get a couple eggs. So if we go 1, we go untap source, right? We get Hatcher down. We'll have 5 open. Oh, wait. 7 open for Imperiosaur, right? So Hatcher comes down. This is wild, dude. That's why we needed the untapped land. Imperiosaur has haste. This is sick. Oh my goodness, we get double of those dinos too. Look at this, bro. Look. Oh my goodness, GG opponent. Hold up, I gotta look. I gotta look at this board state again. Yeah, both decks were allowing for some setup. A 2020 Haste Trample Ward 2. And then because we had Mondrak comboing with Hatcher, we got a couple 3/3 dinos, which they could have chumped. They could have chumped 2 of those and then blocked the 2020 Imperiosaur as well to take only 18 damage, or they could have chumped there too. So wait, so how could that have worked? They could have taken 17 damage this turn and still had a 1/1 back. But then at that point, what else would they have in hand, right? So good stuff, man. Holy cow. Seriously, those games couldn't have been at the beginning of the video? No, it feels really good to end on a high note though, huh? All right. Bunnies and eggs. It's always great to do these holiday decks. I always have a really fun time piecing them together and trying to figure out like how these different themes can work together too. And it's actually just like really sick. So the Hatcher dropping the eggs and then the eggs turning into 3/3s just works so well with Mondrak. That's kind of just like, that's silly to me, dude. If you have any amount of setup like we had in that last game, you're going to absolutely pop off. And then, of course, make sure you're counting your mana properly, too. Because I could have easily accidentally played that tapped land, and then we wouldn't have had the Imperiosaur for the turn. Imperiosaur is, like, one of those cards that it's just, like, you look at it, and it just seems so good. It seems so powerful. Like, where is this card? And that question comes back to, well, where the heck is green? Green just like, it feels like it doesn't exist sometimes. And so when you do find a good list for some of these powerful cards, it's just, yeah, just does the thing. You know what I mean? That 2020 was so sick, man. And the fact that we have multiple ways to successfully give Imperiosaur haste in here, like, just surprise, check out my giant freaking dinosaur opponent. What are you gonna do with your 1 mana? And then like the ward too as well. Like, yeah, everything about Imperiosaur is just great, huh? We didn't get to see Ghalta and Mavren today, but I think just more top end giant dinos is gonna be really good. But of course, this one fits the token theme too, where whenever you attack, you get to choose one of these. You create a tapped and attacking XX green dinosaur creature token with trample, where X is the greatest power among other attacking creatures. It's a great way to wrap up the game because you don't have to attack with Ghalta and Mavren. So you could already have a setup with a big creature and then play Ghalta from your hand, swing with that big creature, and then kind of just duplicate it with another giant dinosaur. Or 2, if you have Mondrak on the board, and similar concept with the bottom ability to create X 1/1 white vampire creature tokens with lifelink, where X is the number of other attacking creatures. So also just working with our go wide theme, I think the 1 of in here is going to be totally worth it, man. Trumpeting Carnosaur and our Get Lost is definitely not enough removal. What do I want to drop for more removal? We take like a part of the soul away from the deck and drop like a couple Shield Hares for a couple more Get Lost or a couple more just utility removal that, or any amount of removal, honestly. Your choice spot removal is totally fine. Now for me, I'm going to keep it as is because I think overall it played out well enough. And while some of those games like the curve felt a little bit odd, it's just one of those things where I specifically pieced it together. I knew it was gonna be janky, so I'm not looking to make it particularly competitive either. So I don't want to take part of the soul out of the deck by dropping a couple Pollen-Shield Hares, but that's definitely something to consider if you want to try to get some more victories too. That being said, Pollen-Shield Hare is still gonna be pretty decent in a lot of different scenarios. We didn't really get to see like wedding announcement out there, but a wedding announcement 1 or 2 turns in a row, and then like those little 1/1s get the ball rolling, and then all of a sudden you buff all those 1/1s because they're tokens, and then all of a sudden wedding announcement flips into wedding festivity, so now you buff them all again. So like Pollen-Shield Hare is still going to be pretty good, but I think that would be the target, dropping a couple of these and going up a couple of your choice spot removal. Didn't get to see Bonehoard Dracosaur today. A great target to hit with the Discover 5 on the Carnosaur, but also it has that ability where we generate tokens to work with the Mondrak and just like all the other themes again, right? Like the creature tokens on the Shield Hare. So like you either get treasure tokens from this or you get 3/1 red dinosaur creature token or both, right? Bonehoard Dracosaur is kind of ridiculous, man. Huatli didn't get a chance to flip into the Saga, but I'll tell you what, it's a lot easier to flip than you would think. Like 5 mana isn't too bad, and you actually get a good chunk of things out of the 5 mana on turn 1 when it flips. You get the 2/3/3 green dinosaur creature tokens, and again, that's doubled if you have that Mondrak, huh? So that's cool. Chapter 2, Roar of the Fifth People, gains creatures you control have tap, add a red, green, or white. So your creatures help you ramp similar to the Convoke for Imperiosaur, but this way it also helps you ramp into like Ghalta, giving Ghalta Convoke essentially, right? Or your other big dinos too, or just like multiple things on the same turn could be pretty good too. Over in the mana base, I did think about the mana base for quite some time. Like, for example, the Restless land I opted for was Restless Prairie. That way we could buff a wide board state. But we also have an emergency Mirrex in here to help us wrap up particular games, especially after some board wipes, but also token generation, right? So that's all going to be important. As far as opting for the fast land, you can see that the fast land in here are not pain lands. And then also I just opted for green fast land because you want as much green early on as possible to make sure you hit your Paleontologist and your Lorekeeper on time. And of course, all 4 Jetmir's Garden might not be necessary, but mana fixing is always great. But if you're concerned about just having this in here as tapped land, you could drop 1 or 2. And what would you go up? Probably just more basics. If you go up more basics, there were some games where we were flooding pretty good, but then there were other games where we were like, well, we definitely need to see mana for a couple turns in a row. And so I think 25 was a good place, and I think the ones that we ended up flooding in, they definitely felt a little unlucky, huh? So I think 25 is great. Anything else, guys? Well, first of all, hey, if you made it this far into the video, y'all are champions for real. I super duper appreciate you. Definitely check out that description where we got that Discord link, as well as the Patreon link if you're interested in supporting the channel that way. Okay, yeah, is there anything else I want to say about the build, other than going up some spot removal, ripping part of the soul out of the deck? I think all 4 rabbit batteries, I think you're still going to really enjoy all 4. But since Hatcher gives haste so effectively too, it might also not be completely necessary. But yeah, like I was saying, like you could rip part of the soul out of the deck, take out some of the bunnies, and go up a couple more pieces of spot removal just to ensure your survival a little longer. But yeah, I'm personally not going to do that. I think it performed well enough, and actually in the games that we won, it kind of just felt like spot removal, who needs it? Check out my big trampler. And then Imperiosaur drops, or, you know, just like anything like that. We have so many huge top end things. And then also, yeah, I don't know. Yeah, giving haste to Ghalta and Mavren is actually pretty ridiculous too, because it's also just like a 12/12 trample without any issues. Maybe like dropping a couple wedding announcements. Maybe that could be a good spot to go up more removal. Maybe. We also didn't get to use the bottom ability on Paleontologist, but it is an ability that does get used. So just something to note, right? You get to exile that card from a graveyard. You may cast Dinosaur, creature spells from among cards you own exiled with Intrepid Paleontologist. You cast a spell this way, a creature enters the battlefield with a finality counter on it. And that's only 2 mana too, so a really good bottom ability. I didn't get to see it today, but it definitely happens. I can see dropping a rabbit battery and going up a 3rd Lorekeeper. And like I said, though, not everything's a dino. So if you got a whole bunch of Lorekeepers, but you're not seeing your top end dinosaurs, you're kind of really sad about it, as everything else here in the front of the build won't use Lorekeeper as ramp. So it just ends up being a 1/1 chump blocker. Okay, guys, hey, enough rambling, huh? Definitely let me know in the comments what would you add or take out. And happy Easter once again. I will see y'all in the next video.